This baked ricotta that's perfect for breakfast, lunch, or dinner is one of the easiest things to whip up. It's so fresh and tasty, and it's ready in just over 30 minutes. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alright guys, starting this off, add 1 kilo or 2.2 pounds of full fat whole milk ricotta to a mixing bowl, and to this, grate in the zest of 1 whole lemon to add a very fresh citrus note, and you can also add in the juice of half of it if you wish to do so for even more freshness, but I think the zest is just the right amount. Next, we're going to crack in 4 large free-range eggs to add a bit of stability, which will hold the ricotta together when baking. Proceed by grating in 90 grams or 3.1 ounces of Parmigiano Reggiano or Parmesan cheese to give us a stronger, more sharp flavour, or if you really love cheese, you can use Pecorino Romano for that even stronger flavour. Now to add a herby, peppery flavour and aroma, let's give 5 grams or 0.2 ounces of fresh oregano a rough chop, which doesn't need to be super fine, just as long as there's no really large leaves or stems. And talking about the stems, sometimes they're very woody, which if that is the case, you will need to pick off the leaves prior to chopping it. Once that's done, add the chopped oregano into the ricotta mixture, and to this, season it with 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of sea salt flakes, and then hit this up with 20 cracks of black pepper for a nice strong flavour, but like always, season to your preferred taste. Let's then get our clean hands in there, or use a potato masher, the choice is up to you, to break it all up and mix it all together, just until it forms a nice sticky ball that can easily be formed. To prepare the baking tin, I recommend using a 20cm springform tin to which we can spray the base with a little bit of spray oil, place over a sheet of parchment paper or baking paper, then place the tin over the top and lock the spring in nice and secure. Lightly spray around the edges to help the paper stick, then come through with some evenly cut sheets and stick them around the edges. You also don't need the massive lip that I've done here as the ricotta doesn't rise, but I thought it's better to be safe than sorry. Now once prepared, we can add the ricotta mixture in, making sure to get it all in there to avoid any wastage, and once in, push it down to spread it out, also leveling the top, but it doesn't matter if it's a little bit rough on top, as those little bits that are rough will get a nice golden crust on them. Let's now make our way over to a preheated oven set to 200 degrees Celsius or 390 degrees Fahrenheit and bake for 25 to 30 minutes or until the surface forms a lightly golden crust. In the meantime, to create a topping, here is 80 grams or 2.8 ounces of sun-dried tomatoes, which we can dice into nice small pieces, and this is going to add a beautiful flavour, colour and look to the baked ricotta once it's done. Along with the sun-dried tomatoes, we're going to need 5 grams or 0.2 ounces of flat leaf parsley, giving it a rough chop just like we did with the oregano, but this time get it a little bit smaller in size as we don't want to be biting into big chunks. Now with the diced sun-dried tomatoes, add them into a small mixing bowl, along with the flat leaf parsley to freshen this up, then add in 1 tablespoon or 20 milliliters of the sun-dried tomato oil, which is what the sun-dried tomatoes came in, for a sweet and tangy flavour, then grate in the zest of half a large lemon for a beautiful citrus note, and you can also squeeze in the juice of the remaining half if you wanted to. Give this a good mix together to combine those flavours, and then place this in the fridge just until you're ready to serve. Going back to the oven, the ricotta has been baking for 30 minutes now and is nice and golden brown on top. Let's then remove this, turn off the oven as we no longer need it, and place the baked ricotta onto a wire rack or heat-proof surface and allow this to cool down for about 15 minutes. Once it's cool to the touch, we can then pop the spring on the tin and gently remove it, gently peel off the parchment or baking paper from the sides, then being careful as the bottom will still be hot or warm depending on how long you let it cool for, we can then slide our hand underneath to remove the base of the tin and also carefully remove the last sheet of parchment or baking paper. With the sun-dried tomato mix, we can now spoon this over the top, spreading it out evenly to completely cover the top of the baked ricotta, and you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I do highly recommend it as the flavour partnership works extremely well. Next, we can add on a handful of rocket or arugula leaves, with the amount being up to you, which has been coated in my lemon vinaigrette dressing, link for that on my second channel, please subscribe, and of course, this is also optional. Now for a little bit of overkill, I'm also adding on some edible flowers to really brighten this up and make all those colours pop, and you should definitely do this, especially if you're trying to impress that special someone. This can then be gently and carefully sliced into as many portions as you'd like, or leave it whole for a portion for one, it's up to you. But all jokes aside, you should be able to get about 12 to 16 portions from this, obviously depending on the size that you cut it though. Once you've sliced it up, a good way to pick it up is either using a palette knife, which is made for jobs like this, or simply use a kitchen knife to then reveal this absolutely beautiful baked ricotta that's tangy, fresh, rich and sharp, and the sun-dried tomato mix, lemon vinaigrette rocket or arugula, and the unnecessary edible flowers bring out a beautiful colour and amazing summery feel. All that's left to do then is serve this up on a plate, board or bowl and get your knife and fork ready to smash this down, or in other words, we can then dig in. So there we have it. This recipe right here makes 1 20cm round tins worth, and depending on which size you cut it, you can get up to 16 good sized portions. To store it, you can place it in the fridge in an airtight container for up to 6 days, or in the freezer in an airtight container for up to 3 months, and to reheat it, place it back in the oven set on 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and heat it up for about 10 to 12 minutes, just until it's nice and hot in the center. Or you can place it in the microwave, but you might end up with a soggy sponge if you do it that way, so I do recommend just putting it in the oven. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button, comment, share, do all of that stuff. It really does help my channel out, and consider subscribing along with hitting that bell notification next to it so you never miss when I upload. Thanks for watching everyone, stay safe and enjoy.